I'm good. I'm freshly back from vacation. And by fresh, I mean I'm completely exhausted, but some nice Highlander here on a Monday night is exactly what I need to keep the blood flowing here in these old veins.
I'm also freshly back and exhausted, but that's from running away from consecutive hurricanes here in the great state of Florida. But we're good. Lost some appliances back in Helene, but otherwise not doing too bad. Power and internet's all we really need. But yeah, we come in here on this week 3 match. You may notice that despite being week 3, Macchiatos and KovaaK's already has 3 match results in. That's as a result of, I believe it is Daniel team that has died. Everyone will be getting a bye week from that. So an additional bye week now for the rest of the teams in invite now down from 6 teams to 5, I think it is, or were we at 5 teams down to 4? One of the two. But yeah, everyone's going to get that win coming eventually once it was their turn to play the now dead Daniel team. That said, we did have Macchiatos and KovaaK's. We casted them back in week 1, and they had a very tough fought loss. Yeah, sounded weird a bit, coming out to Agar Grove. Meanwhile, Locked In Syndrome, I believe, took their win against Imposters. No, they also had their forfeit week against Daniel team already, and they took a loss to Team Fun. So not too much to go off of there. Losing to Team Fun's pretty understandable given their roster, but this is going to be their real first match. If we want to run down the rosters, Rogue.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So let's see. We've seen both of these teams before. Maybe I'll go the side of Locked In Syndrome from last week. So that's Darty on Scout, JRY on Soldier, Leaf looks like is a ringer on Pyro for tonight, Akira on Demo, Dotwet on Heavy, Exa on Engineer, Ray playing Medic, Mountain Sniping, and Lucky on Spy.
And over on the side of Macchiatos and KovaaK's, it will be Maxi on Scout, Lunar on Soldier, Thick on Pyro, RJBNR, artist formerly known as Snowy on Demoman, Swift on Heavy, the one and only Spade Slick on Engineer, Eku952 on Medic, Brian on Sniper, and Taiga on Spy. So I think you said that it was Locked In Syndrome being casted last week against Daniel team, right? I believe it was.
That's correct.
And did Locked In win that? Because I just checked their match history and I said they had a forfeit, but realizing that may have been the reason why Daniel team is no longer with us.
No, so it was a 4-0 roll in favor of Daniel team, right? Like Daniel team being basically that Witness Gaming that took invite by storm, but in this case they, had a pretty clean 4-0. But there was one round from Locked In Syndrome where like basically the way they played is they were constantly aggressing, always trying, even if their medic didn't have Uber, they would work on drive pushes. Like they were never down and out. And there was one round that went to like double overtime, like basically 0 seconds on both teams' clocks. So I think they have like, even though it was a loss, I think it showed me a lot in terms of how this team can find their way back into games.
Yeah, and I mean, if we take a look at these classes, I mean, Locked In Syndrome going to be coming in here, I'd have to say, with a strong combo. I mean, RJBNR, Swift, Eku, all either, advanced move-ups or in, their really kind of their first season where they may be kind of competing for invite placement, with the low number of teams, whereas Kira, Dotwet, Ray, all invite mainstays at this point. Mountain as well, someone who has been around quite a few times. At least has one placement of their own. I'm trying to think if it's 2, maybe more. But someone who has been at the top. Mountain pun. I'm trying. That said, though, it is hard to look at Brian on the side of M&K's and not kind of want to lean the Sniper v Sniper in favor there. But I mean, I'm looking and I see the Sniper ad, what I feel like for M&K, but it's hard to think they're going to have an ad on any other class. Just off of, kind of reputation and history coming into this.
I'll agree, and I do think, especially on a map like Upward, you have like one of these, like, I guess, middle time maps. Like, it's not as long as Swiftwater, not as short as Vigil. So here, it'll be interesting for M&K to basically, like, work on their adaptation. So we saw M&K week number 1 against Agar Grove, and it was one of those games where, like, one team kind of came out swinging, next team clapped back, and then finally Aggro Grove took the win in round number 3. So it was one of those things where it's like, if only MNK had like sorted out 1 or 2 more of their pushes, 1 or 2 more of their holds, they would be really cooking with the gas. So I guess I'm curious to see, like, now that weeks have gone by, did they shore up that sort of like chemistry side, that strategy side, or like are they going to get caught on the back foot pretty quick? We'll see.
Yep, definitely. Oh, and we're actually I'm seeing now that, it will be Birdo who will be on scout right now for Locked In Syndrome, not Darty, which, not being too familiar with Darty, but knowing what I know about Birdo, cannot say that that's going to be a downgrade by any means, likely an upgrade coming in on scout. So, I mean, coming into this again, I think when we looked at week 1 match, Agar Grove felt like they were the favorites coming into it. We saw MNK really come out of the gates, take them by storm, flood in, set some really quick times before Agar Grove, kind of adapted to it, as you said, punch back, and were able to take it 2-1. It's gonna feel the same way here. I have to think Locked In Syndrome are going to be the favorites here. Just with the amount of experience in their combo, I think that it's going to be... There's a lot on Brian's shoulders for MNK if they're going to want to keep this close. I definitely think they can take a half here, but my heart's telling me 2-1, but I think my brain's telling me it's going to be a close 2-0 in favor of LIS. But I'm trying to think if there's anyone other than Brian that I can really look for. I mean, pick classes are always going to be, the wild card, so Taiga as well is really going to have to come alive here. Try to keep Mountain down, because I do think that Brian can, take the SVS here, but we saw on Vigil that winning the SVS is not enough to win. And even with Brian putting up really big numbers in that week 1 Vigil match, it still ended up being, a close first 2 halves into a third half that was just kind of a rout.
Yeah, I'll agree with you as we bring in our predictions here from chat. I would say too that the prediction for me, I'm going to go 2-1 in favor of Locked In Syndrome. But I do want to give a shout out to Spade Slick, very dear friend. But I actually think on a map like Upward of all places, Spades has a lot of room to have a lot of impact here, because on the offense, it's like the difference between like lower invite teams versus higher invite teams on maps like this is how well they play the cart pressure, right? Like, you can't win the game unless you play the objective, and the way that Spades is so focused on the objective in a time like this is like, even if his team isn't doing great, I think he has a lot more room here to play the card as the pusher, compared to a map like Vigil where they just get completely stuffed on the cart.
I mean, the way I see this, Timmy, is that there's a lot for the MNK's players to prove here. No one on LIS to me is someone who you look at and you say, oh yeah, that guy's definitely gonna take a shit in his cereal. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm good friends with Taiga, I've been known him for a while, but if it was Taiga against Jacob on Spy, I'm like, okay, better luck next time, buddy. But there's no one here that is so overwhelming that it feels hopeless. It's just like, if you had to bet, the odds would be like 80-20 on every favor. Maybe 70-30, right, in favor of the LIS players, but 30%'s a lot of wiggle room in a lot of these cases. Dotwet, no one's going to pred Dotwet or for Swift to, show up better than Dotwet on any given day. But Dotwet's not a player that's so invulnerable that we haven't seen him have bad games. Same with Kira, same with Birdo, same with Mountain, same with Lucky, right? All of them favorites, but not untouchable types of players. When you think about like like a Boar on Sniper, right? Or a Jacob on Spy. Even that, we saw Jacob last season on Spy have some subpar stat lines, but maybe I'm thinking more Golden Age Jacob. That said, a lot to prove, and I think that any player on MNK really can show up. It's just a matter of execution.
Yeah, I'll agree. And as we wait for the last few players in the server, I'll give a quick shout out to the RGL Autumn merch. If you type exclamation merch here in the chat, you'll see a good list of the new fall season here of the new designs. So there's all different types of things that are very thematic versus things built around specific teams versus like TF2 general works that, yeah, like this is the kind of stuff where, you know, kind of is released now and then it goes away forever. So if you're not sure, now is the time to pull the trigger and enjoy some of our merch here from RGL.
The steel shirt in the merch rotation right now is really nice, as are the mouse pads, which I may or may not have bought one of. So, caster approved in this case. So, definitely take a look. There's some good ones. Also, it's looking like we have some of the, we have some of the animal shirts back too. So the remote control frog, the snake water snake, and a spy crab all back in there. Some classics coming back. Elfin, do we know, are those going to be available the full kind of rotation? Should be available the full rotation. So, got some time if you need to save up all of the residuals you make from TF2 trading to cash out and buy them, because they came back once. Who knows when it's going to be again. That said, looks like we're going live shortly, if I heard that correct. So, Zach, I put mine in. I think I've got a 2-0 in favor of LAS. Can I get a pred out of you before we get going?
I'll think it's a 2-1 for LAS, yeah.
All right. The doubters on MNK are there. Everything's set for them to prove us wrong. With a big comeback. I also want to give a shout out to Swift on MNK. Someone who had been in advance for a while, and as I understand it, got a 240 hertz in the middle of last season and kind of went Super Saiyan. And really, you know, just started playing up to his potential, is one way to say it. Someone who I still think I've been hearing really good things about recently. So another kind of player on MNK I want to shine a spotlight on, so it's not just going to be, you know, Brian V9 in this case. But yeah, I'd like to see what he's able to do here. Dotlet's someone who's very well established and very capable on heavy, but does kind of play a little bit more of that aggro style, you know, higher risk, higher reward. So definitely punishable, and if Swift can get in there, it's kind of maybe my vote for a wild card here, because I think Brian at least is somewhat of a known quantity. Taiga as well, you know, I think you were very much a fan of his playstyle last time on Vigil, and if able to, you know, imitate that again on Stopwatch, could see some good things, as it will be LAS on defense, MNK on offense. 10 seconds until we're here.
Run the lucky cam here. LAS stands for the Lucky Invite Super Team, of course, here for Lucky deciding not going up that rock. We'll just kind of chill back up the team. Now they'll waste time looking for the spy that they'll never find, huh?
I don't think the plan was. I think the plan was to get up there, just unable to hit the jump as Swift. Oh, Caster's Curse immediately gone. Lunar penciling repeatedly, not sure what the move is there, but it's gonna end up with a kill on Birdo, so all's well that ends well. They also have to pull out X's gun on that sack wave. Nothing on to Ray, and only the scout kill for now, but, you know, better than nothing on the sack wave, as numbers are gonna come back up. Spades, as you said, objective focus, the pusher, living up to his namesake, getting that card towards the choke. Taiga back at spawn. Went for the telly. X is going to Eureka effect back for it. Taiga now coming in on hill. May see something coming out of the combo soon, but no, X is still in spawn. X is dead though.
Wow, that was actually shockingly impressive. So Taiga went all the way to spawn to get Exa to basically, oh wow, and a late pick also at the dot right now, a 20-second respawn timer. Birdo thinking for the rest, but
Lunar, so late, but it's gonna come out, and now Echo's go back and spawn as a full ad.
It was very nice on that push. They, like, Taiga went all the way to spawn and then came back and called the sack at the same time because they knew that Exa was taking off the sapper and spawn. And now onto Ray, going for a couple shots, but Ray's backing up into the enemy team. Drops down with the, this is the battalion's backup, right? Or like basically, yeah, the banner comes out. Maybe it's the buff banner. I always mix them up. But now that's going to protect the medic enough to back up onto hill here.
Yeah, good call to back out with that. Can't get sniped. Ends up keeping Mountain alive, and a really good arrow out of Ray to make sure Mountain's able to back up safely. Really think going to win the SVS on to Brian. Taiga caught out as well, but, you know, ultimately good push through first. 140 is pretty average right now. Leaf coming a little bit forward, just going to get some detonator chip, but a pretty forward position for LAS on the hill right now. Going to back up a bit. That would look like he might have been wanting to kind of look into back into first, but bit of a holding pattern right now. 20% ad. Brian getting caught out in tunnel, it looks like, and Dotwood and Jerry will be the trade though, so good tunnel pressure for MNK.
I do like the way that the defensive teams have been. Oh wait, Taiga in onto Kira, goes down, losing that Demoman right away. RGBNR and Echo working their way across the hill. Rainbird do use back. Leaf goes down to try and delay. Lunar here is a little bit of a linchpin, waiting for the right moment to strike here on the ridge. Now bombs up into the sentry gun. Gun goes down. Dawet, another very late death. They clear out side tunnel here. Lucky is the only real threat, but opting again not to go into the 1v9 just now. But Kira swinging wide, going all the way out with Mountain to try and delay point, but it looks like they're not going to be able to stop it.
Yeah, really just good play all around from MNK. Taiga opening up with that demo pick is so big because it means that exchange is just going to end up offense favored. Dotwet caught out a little bit. Leaf dies to delay, but you know, the defensive Uber wasn't doing too much. Sub 3 through 2, going to be a great time right now. They're all holed up in-house as the cart is getting moved up. Swift up on Catwalk with Lunar, but Taiga caught out, so no backstabs come immediately. They just have to wait for either a sniper pick or Taiga to get back in there again, as the cart pressure will get it up right up to the bottom of that first round.
I love Swift here. It's controlling this high ground. Who actually just gets juggled off as soon as I say it. But, oh, now the Uber coming out onto the corner. JY getting stuck way behind. The defense doesn't even use their Uber because they don't have one, but if they did, they wouldn't have to use it anyway. Right now, Ray coming up on 100%, so that's full ad, but the cart's getting pretty high up.
Birdo got knocked off and sided, I think, but yeah, full ad for the defense. They're just going to run down a bunch of kills. What's important is Eku getting chased out to spawn by Leaf will stay alive and keep that ad. I like the aggression from MNK because it felt like they probably knew they had some kind of percentage ad right there, but it's just upward third. You don't have any picks, like a 2% Uber ad is not enough to get you the point. If it was a cough map, maybe, but it will end up with them cycling Ubers. They are now sitting on a much bigger ad, 25% or so, as Mountain, though, gonna find pick onto Swift. Echo now sitting on 85%, will not have a heavy here if they want to use immediately. Tekka caught out as well. This ad Uber looked to be promising, but as they keep dropping players, it'll be difficult to really execute. Pyro dead, though, that's huge.
Yeah, no air blast behind.
RGBNR! He's gone!
Team Rocket's blasting off again.
I've never seen anyone get launched that far out of the map. That's incredible. Great deck right there coming out of Kira. And that ad Uber all for naught when the Demo Man is simply removed.
Yeah, that felt like 9 sticky bombs in the trap. But hey, even in that Uber that doesn't get much, Spade Slick getting the cart halfway up the hill now. Goes down for it, sure, but you've hit like one of the 2 difficulty spikes here. Well, yeah, if that cart isn't all the way up each of these little individual ramps, it'll roll back down. RGBNR working the kind of angle where you can lob stickies over from the cart path, so you're going to do a lot of damage directly to the defending side. But right now, Lucky more just like looking for a play onto Echo if they can.
Yeah, the Ubers have become increasingly unsynced, which is a good thing for offense, and the fact that you will have a big ad here, but, you know, need to not have your Demo Man 1 frame teleported off the map for that Uber to go over well. And they are going to use, coming up here, Thick leading it, going to go even in the air blast fight. No clear winner there, as Lunar jumping in now, going to cause some chaos, but not going to find any real kills. Lucky caught out on the back end, but it's enough of a distraction for the cart. They are going to get it up. Spades and Maxi going to get that in. All the kills now going up in favor of LIS, but the cart is capped. 2 for Maxi on the back end, but, you know, you get the objective. That's all you really need. Level 1 gun's still here, but that'll go down sooner rather than later. And I mean, 6 minutes through 3 is not terrible. I mean, it took them 3 minutes to push third. That's an okay time. You would like to see a little bit faster, but, you know, puts them maybe, yeah, it's really going to come down to the last push.
I mean, Maxi and Spades really went above and beyond there, because if they don't get that cart, this is a horrible failed push, and you have massive disadvantage over here for a long time. So for both of them to, like, in the Uber that didn't get much, seal the deal is amazing.
Opening onto Mountain, and the gun dead as well. Uber, Ray has Uber here, but Echo in danger in Harry Potter. Birdo finally lands that last shot of advancing for his life for a while, but cannot end up living. That's going to be a shame, because some real good picks were in order there. Maybe you could have forced out Ray's Uber, gotten an ad, but Echo going to be a little bit too far forward going down.
Oh my god, Snowy ran out of ammo. Oh, it's a Doorman on just melee only as everyone's bombing the medic. You hate to see it, but hey, if you've been alive for that long, you're doing something right. The whole team working their way straight into upper, like from lower to upper, without Uber, like with this ad pushing from lower to upper. let's like really contest and hold this high ground. Get the beam on Brian, go for those long shots on the last, and bam! Brian grabs him out as soon as we call it.
Yeah, I mean, the gun now rebuilding, Mountain dead. There's a lot of good things in place here. Brian just rocked off a headshot onto someone. But so many of the card pushers just died before that. RJBNR went down as well, so not going to be able to capitalize too much on it. And now Mountain having just respawned. Brian dying to a reflex grenade? Leaf doing something right there. Not sure how, but he'll take it. And again, I mean, you know, we've seen Upward last be maybe the hardest point to push on any payload map. And living up to its reputation now.
In the offense trying to swing around, kind of playing this long angle, but as a defense, it's like, well, sure, you can keep that ground as long as you like, as long as you don't get on cart. Nothing really is wrong at the end of the day. Brian with another shot onto Mountain. The sentry gun does go down, so no sniper, no gun means you can peek cart freely. The Uber comes out trying to basically take the fire away from the cart and closer to the enemies. Leave even diving down. Dropping into the cart now underneath with JRY. Lunar bombing into upper. Ray with the wild surf. Wow. Like surf from that upper balcony back to their own spawn balcony. Yeah, these players bombing and weaving, but somehow keeping their cart pressure completely clear.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you're MNK, you've got to be feeling pretty frustrated. You're getting the sniper, you're getting the gun, and there's just not enough kills elsewhere coming through. I don't know if it's their combo is not able to get any kills up in the combo. They need to be seeing Lunar do some more jumps up top left here. But Banner popped out by Jerry and attempted to stay alive. Gets an arrow up in boxes and will stay up. Not the best banner, but keeps him alive. So better than dying with it. Pop a go drop it applies to soldiers now, kids. Swift's gonna catch out Lucky, but Bryant in upper just taking this SVS. Dots on top of each other. Gonna get it again, 4 in a row. Go onto Mountain up here. Let's see if this maybe is the time. Dot went, gonna go down. Brian lands a headshot. That could be big. Cart getting close. Tiger collapsing in on spawn. Lunar up top left. Brian gonna be the one picking up Kira. Make it 4 for Brian. And 9:24 gonna be the time. A time that, you know, a few seasons ago I would have said was pretty bad, but as we've gotten more and more used to this new upward last hold, maybe on the slower side of average, but not as terrible as you might have once thought.
Even then, that didn't feel like 3 minutes, you know, like it was, yeah, almost 3.5 minutes basically of that last push, but it kind of felt like they were doing a lot of the right things. I would especially contend that they like had the timing down for the pushes and got a lot of those key picks. But something I think that separates the big dogs from the cute little puppies is selling out for a play, basically. You gotta sometimes just lay it all on the line and say, like, we win here and we win now, we're gonna give it 110%. The kind of pushes I hate is like, oh my god, we got the sniper, we got the sentry gun, and then like half your like, you know, 3 people die right away trying to secure kills, 3 people die on cart because they're doing cart, and then 3 people stay alive for the entire fight because they're like spamming from high ground. You need 9 players doing any of those 3 things. Makes such a big difference to me.
Yeah, I mean, good on Brian, just, you know, basically getting that point single-handedly, it felt like, but had enough of the support coming in that time as well. And I mean, again, you know, 3 minutes through second, 6 minutes through third, 9 minutes through last is decent, but if you see only any, you know, really good push on any one of those points really coming out from LIS, then unfortunately, you know, may not be the half for MNK, but we saw them put up really good defenses on Vigil second, so entirely possible they can do it here. Brian on defense as well, going to be a menace. Very fast exchange coming out over hill. The question is, defense really needs to pop up, but, you know, better safe than sorry. Keeps everyone alive. Really nothing gained by the offense other than that Uber. You could argue that offense wants it more, but Lucky finding Brian right off the bat. Not the type of kill you want to see. Switch gonna get sniped out as well. Things quickly going downhill. Exa in onto the combo here, up on playground. Everyone's getting in on it. That's what you said, selling out for it. Eku not even going to be able to make it halfway up the hill before getting sniped out by Mountain, and that's nearly a wipe coming in on first as we see just a minute 10 for the first point, and look how forward Leaf is. Even looking up, waiting for the high bomb. That's awesome.
The defense now, you're really stuck here because it's like, I guess we have to swing wide with our sniper, but we're getting there so late, giving up cart completely for free basically, and going down the mountain.
Like it's upward last. Jerry coming in, gonna find a kill onto Swift. Not just barely goes down, almost makes it out with the beam on him. But now Taiga caught out as well. Gonna have to shoot for his life, but will just get bounced off the map right here. So, not so great through first and second. About a minute faster right now for LYS, but map really starts here, 7.5 minutes. It's definitely doable. That was Mountain in spawn just doming. Oh no, that was Brian. Excuse me. Yeah, doming the heavy before backswing. But now Mountain again onto Max. He still hasn't died yet on offense. Keeping the pressure up is what you like to see.
Uber's about to even up. The gun is level 3 here. The cart is nearing the bottom of the hill. All the pieces are falling into place here. Ray is actually a bit hurt, where it's like, you really want to keep these heals up on your team of people taking damage, but yeah, there we go. Force is actually very early. So Leaf saying, all right, I'm going to try and do what I can. Ray not even able to connect the beam. So no Uber used out of Eku. This is a big opening, basically, they needed to hold for the next 7 minutes straight. It begins here, but wait, JRY flying into Spiral, bombing it behind. It does get cleaned up for it, but that was about to be real juicy.
Yeah, Uber's going to be popped out now. Like, interesting that Maxi on the Force in Nature. Brian also getting one back in the SDS right there is maybe what helped them be a little bit more confident and limit Uber that long. That said, it is about a 20% ad right now in favor of Ray. Mountain now going to get another kill onto Maxi. Mountain having a really good offense so far, constantly finding kills onto Sniper, Scout, and Heavy. Just one less bot. As Exa now getting the card up that second hill. Likely going to get it there as nothing to really force them off it. Brian now looking at Card, and that will be Exa and Lucky both going down. Tiger caught out on the back end, but Mountain's going to catch stick. That's huge to lose your defensive pyro here, especially with Ray now coming up on 80% Uber. Eku's done a good job of keeping it close and closing at 20% ad, but when you lose your defensive pyro on an upward third defense, that is not a recipe for success here. Ray now at 90, going to give Leaf an arrow, and they can just walk this in. They're just respawning though, so they got to be quick.
Maxi on the Force of Nature blowing people off the cliff.
Leaf going around. Gonna pick up a kill onto Lunar as the Uber's forced out, but bit of a misplay it feels like from LIS right there. I thought they were gonna have that much easier. And instead of blasting them back, Leaf tries to go for a frag, finds a soldier, but does not keep the combo back. Now is on card as Ryan lands a shot, lets Maxi clean it up, and defense still just barely holding on.
Maxi surviving still on 9 HP. He's been on 9 HP for quite some time, but now that Mountain is set up on the long angle here, even Lucky calling, they're all backed up. They all left spawn, which honestly is not a bad call. It's like, I think you can fight tooth and nail for this point, or you can back up to last. Indecision is what will really kill you. So saying, hey, we're just going to back up to last, really have a great hold here, and ride out the rest of this clock, good call.
That said, I mean, 5 minutes is a lot. We've seen it before. It's absolutely possible. Not something I would bet on, given maybe kind of the way that this offense has gone. Mountain now starting to get into upper. Gonna maybe start thinking that SVS. Leaf gonna reflect the Sentry Rockets. Gun goes down. That Enforcer really putting in work from Lucky. Jump. The Uber gets popped off. Kira now gonna trying to get spammed up top. RJBNR popped up, but will not bother to drop down. Brian picks up Leaf. And it's just basically a handshake of Ubers there. The Pyro going to be the only one going down. As Taiga now caught out, but not with finding some room onto Luna. Maxi's going to get forced back as well. Maybe some room. Mountain up top finds out to be off big hit.
The card's getting closer and closer. Look at Exa here. Like, kind of in an unassuming way, saying like, wait a second, they're probably playing too defensive now, staying alive. Exa got the cart all the way to last, and yeah, they're dropping like flies, even Eku trying to hop on the cart here, but there we go. 3:47 left on the clock, so that was a push in of, what was that, just under 6 minutes?
Feels like it, yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. Interesting to note is that Brian didn't even go down during that, just with the demo with Mountain finding the demo pick right there. That's all they really needed. You know, and Mountain having a really... Seen a lot of the offensive snipers, honestly. Upward a map where offensive sniper can be pretty difficult just because, you know, you're constantly getting called. Defense has really great angles. You know, defense sniper kind of controls the fight. But both halves, we've seen the offensive sniper doing a really good job of consistently finding kills. It's just, it feels like the supporting cast, you know, has been better in favor of LIS, which is about what we were expecting. I thought Taiga had a really hot start, but kind of cooled off on 3rd and 4th, just not able to really find much. And I mean, we've got logs up right here. Yeah, Mountain really putting up a good game. 19 and 6, coming in 461 DPM. I mean, both snipers top scoring the server, and their own teams. But again, you look at the combo difference. You know, big differences there. Maxi actually doing better than Berto and Scout, something I would not have predicted. So great showing there. But again, the combo diff is pretty big here.
Yeah, I'm eyeing as well the yeah, you mentioned like both offensive snipers having a big game here, and I actually love to see logs like this where the top 2 kills are both from snipers, right? Like 19 from Mountain, 15 from Brian. Neither of them having very many deaths for it. So it's like both teams are basically getting opportunities constantly. And then like how well do you capitalize on those? It's a really interesting game compared to where like, oh, our sniper just couldn't get in there, like we're always down, whatever. But actually an interesting one for me is JRY on Soldier actually doing very well. You know, sometimes stat lines for Soldier could be kind of a wash, especially here on Payload where it's like, we need you to sack into the medic and then just die for doing 70 damage, you know? So I think being able to put up a stat line like this that's squarely positive is a impressive sight. And I think also like that damage too, like, you know, JRY doing 100 more DPM than their counterpart, and same for Kira doing more than 100 damage per minute extra over RGBNR. So they're really turning up the heat even in that downtime.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I think part of it too, right, is that you're always going to be getting more kills on defense, and one team had another 4 minutes of defense time than the other. So, like, when I look at, you know, just looking at stat lines, like, when I look at, like, Lunar and Jerry, when I look at Brian and Mountain, like, those are about equal to me, right? You know, you figure if Brian and Lunar had another 4 minutes on holding upward last, right, those are going to be about even. Tiger maybe gets a little bit more ahead, but you look at Thick, you look at RJBNR, you look at Swift, right? Those are the ones where another 4 minutes on defense not making up for the fact that you're going, you know, decently negative here. And again, I mean, I don't want to harp on one player, but we noticed in Vigil that RJBNR is someone who can really, you know, put up some really good moments, really aggressive player, but maybe a little bit too forward in times, not respecting sightlines enough. You know, kind of got sniped in upper by Mountain, and that was really what opened the floodgates. Brian was still alive, but you lose your demo, you lose your card spam. Someone, you know, that now kind of 2 times in a row we've seen getting caught out a little bit more than maybe you'd like. A new exile perhaps coming in here. You know, high potential, but can have some pretty low lows in terms of just dying at really inopportune times. So we shall see if you know, but RJBNR is the one I'm looking really to, you know, maybe clean it up in the second half here, stay alive a little bit more, be a little bit more controlled with that aggression, and, you know, enable Brian to stay alive and win.
Yeah, I think that would help a ton on the defense, like you mentioned, and well, offense too. But I guess I'm trying to think through like for Locked In Syndrome, or sorry, yeah, for Macchiatos and KovaaK's, I mean, like what'll unlock their offense, right? We are loading into the round here, but I mean, I mentioned we saw some great coordinated pushes on the first, on the second, like Tiger working really well with the flank. Oh my god, of course Mountain doing a lot of really good work too. So I don't know though, like even though they're getting those openings, they're not like sealing the point capture. So I wonder what it'll take for them to, you know, turn that like start snowballing basically those openings into real advantages.
Yeah, I just think it feels like it has to be a little bit more on the combo. I mean, like I'm thinking about how Brian found Mountain pushing last 4 times, and none of them worked until Brian also killed like the heavy and the demo. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
In the case of LIS, Mountain killed the demo, and everyone else said, "Oh, okay, perfect, we can walk in." Sniper's up, screw that. If it's only a sniper, not a sniper and a demo, we're fine. Whereas it kind of feels like if it's not Taiga or Brian really opening up the doors for MNK, their combo's having trouble making any space on their own. And, you know, we saw Taiga, despite that great start, really start getting shut down after that, so it's great when your spy can do that, but it's not something you can bank on. Your list of ways to push has to be deeper than 1, wait for a sniper to get picks, 2, wait for a spy to get picks.
Well said, and we see the same thing from Locked in Syndrome now, just going for the very early exchange. I love this. Yeah, and they get the Uber out from the defense in turn. Lucky very far behind on hill, so the Ubers are traded. Cart now is all the way up though, and there's no defense. Sorry, no Uber for the defense. So it's like we can kind of stay forward without that many repercussions without getting reset too soon. Even Dotwet kind of standing all the way up on top of that rock means that anyone who peeks takes a massive amount of damage. JRY now onto the playground here, basically I'm playing on the house. And losing Mountain though means you're gonna, it's an uphill battle to come back in, but hey, at least the engineer's down.
Jerry finds Brian. Defensive sniper, a way bigger pick. RJBNR as well, gonna go down here. Taiga gonna be next. Gun is dead. The backouts are sounded. Eku escaping for the time being, but the pipes from Kira jumping over, finding a whole gaggle of kills up on hill. And looks like they were busy with the spy. And then the rest of the team comes in, cleans them up right there. No spawn camping going on yet, but we're gonna sit up. Ooh, sitting up on the ledge right there. If anyone walks out, but looks like they're gonna back up, go all the way around. Brian now gonna look to try to maybe play by bridge. If even, they might just be calling to go back to third.
Yeah, that was funny. Lucky screaming in chat, please look forward. I don't know why spies don't like that. Like when I'm calling, like, guys, there are 8 people looking at me. This is the best thing in the world. You can walk forward. It's like, that's hooray. My job is done so well, but spies every time are like, oh no.
Finds Spade pulling his gun out. No gun on third. Could be interesting right here as it's going to be full ad right now for Ray. They can just walk up. No gun right now on defense. Eku does not have. Cart is very far away, but things could get really ugly really quickly right now for MNK on third.
There's a slight Uber from Ray, ad from Ray that's coming in now. Eku on 70%, so coming up not before long. The thing is, the cart's so far back, so for offense, you have to like mount a hold here. And the way that looks is playing on the platform where Dotwet is right now, but Dotwet's alone. Honestly, a lot of these players should not be fighting. Yeah, we just need to support this platform, make it so no one can peek forward. Instead, Locked in Syndrome took the fight to the defense, which is what defense wanted. So they are not able to hold that fight, and Ray even goes down to pull this ad.
Felt like a really clear moment too for MNK right there. They said, okay, we're hard down, we don't have a gun they're gonna use. They all just backed up, no one got caught out. RJBNR even caught Leaf getting too aggro, and then they're able to just slowly walk back in to the better positioning that Default has. They didn't lose anyone. Really, really good play right there. Taiga even picking up Ray on the back of that just to delay that offensive Uber even longer. But, you know, Eku now gonna have full ad. Brian looking up on Cart. Lots of players on Cart. I love all this pressure. Leaf, though, popped up and gonna get body shot as they're now forced off of it. Luck and Taiga's spies both caught out. Ray gonna be forced to back up right here, and they got the Cart up the first hill, but that's about it.
It felt weird for the defense to take that ad. Like, normally you only want to take ad if your spy calls it, but yeah, nice shot from on Brian. Yeah, weird ad post. Now the cart's actually getting really close. Oh my god, a Mountain is on the cart with the engineer and scout, so everyone who tries to spam cart gets body shot or headshot. Made up the first hill. Kira, Leaf, Jerry, Ray, now all playing this platform. Now everyone on defense who peeks just dies. This is how you sort of like plant your foot in this offense when the cart isn't up yet.
I must have missed using that Uber because they didn't have there. And then, I mean, once you lose Brian, you know, again, it feels like if Brian's not opening the door right now for MNK or Taiga, both of whom are dead, they don't have a whole lot they can do. And Lucky's going to find the stab on Brian right at spawn. In spawn, even. That's a huge pick to get right here. As the cart's now, you know, coming up a lot quicker than you'd like to see it right now if you're MNK. Uber in the hands of Ray and Kira, and they look where they are right now. They're by spawn.
For a second, Taiga with a quick 2K onto Dotwet and Mountain to take out the heavy, but a full charge headshot on, a headshot of fully Ubered Ray from Brian here in spawn. Ray opting not to use it, looking for their team, and then gets taken out for their troubles.
I need a study on what happened there because I see Echo Ubering alone as maybe a distraction, and Ray, I guess, in their confusion, wandered into a sightline, or was they were trying to get out? I don't know what the call was there. But Ray and Kira were at the red spawn, and then it looked like Kira called to back out, and Ray's like, I've got full Uber, and you want me to cross all these sightlines? Okay. Goes down, but Lucky gonna pick up a kill on to Maxi right there, so no scout to harass them down below. Lunar dead next. That's one of your 2 explosive classes down. As Lucky now caught out at spawn, but not too much doing. Brian gets the kill on Jerry. You're hurt up on cart. Brian now on to Leaf. And As long as he can keep up the kills on cart, they'll be fine. But Mountain finding Thick right now. Swift up in top left, trying to get pressure onto cart. The spam going to start coming in from Kira. Things are really dicey right now. That cart's getting close.
Ooh, nice from Lunar, kind of the right time to collapse on cart. Echo and RGB&R going in now. JRY, wait, just pencil bomb straight up. Tried to see if I can't see them, they can't see me, but it doesn't seal the deal.
Look at Lucky with the parkour.
Yeah, hang out above the defensive spawn door. Decloaks.
Ezio.
Ezio. One butter knife and nothing else to show for it.
He gave up a saw, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did. But I mean, still, full admiration going to be used here. Bunch of kills coming in. Mountain going to find multiple, but RGB&R big dent on the cart keeps it alive right now. That gun is dead though. Leaf getting the flare shot onto Maxi. Exa in the channel, maybe Spades trying to push it in all on their own. Gonna dodge these and will not go down. 6-11. A little bit slower than last time, but a good time all the same.
Yeah, that was absolutely baffling on that last that last push. Yeah, a lot of craziness going on around here. Even who was it? JRY like bombed into the defensive spawn, basically a soldier, and was trying to get closer to the medic. The thing is, Swift was shooting at JRY, and so the bullets like surfed him just barely into the medic and got the pick. To again be that sort of way to like absolutely and without doubt get that last push and get the last pick you needed for it.
Definitely just chaos there. You know, this might be the most unsynced I've ever seen Ubers on a stopwatch. It feels like. Feels like we didn't have, like, other than the Uber on first, there were no exchanges. It was all full ads for one side or another.
That is true. I love seeing it, basically, that, like, teams aren't saying, like, hey, let's sit around and wait for these Ubers to, like, let's get active and do something with our advantage. I think it's very good, except on defense, it's like, the clock running out is your advantage, so even on defense, you can just sit there with it, but...
Jetpack alert!
Oh, flying in. 1-2, waiting for a recharge. And we're off.
On the Dragon's Fury!
Oh,
got some good. Went down, but got some good tech on Mountain off of the playground at least. You love to see it, but nothing too much really going to come out of there. The teleporter going to go down. Taiga finds that. We saw before Exa likely going to Eureka effect back to spawn right now as the Taiga now coming in. The gun, yep, left unattended, goes down. Same thing we saw last time. Taiga just going in. The butter knife Mountain down, not gonna find it. All the kills, wow, going right over to LIS right there. Nothing coming on the board. Lucky, the only one even in the red.
Yeah, I love that play out of Taiga. Like, if you know Exa is going to go back for your sapper, just call the rest of your team in to get the gun now. However, Exa already on a level 1, got enough ammo. So by the time this Uber comes in, it'll probably be level 2. And at that point, you know, the health is still going to be pretty significant. So like you mentioned, it's like, they get this opening but can't capitalize.
Yep, as we said though, here comes the exchange. Taiga already dead. Thick as well. Spade's gonna be next. Oh, lead Telefrag. Taiga coming in right on the back. Unfortunate, you hate to see it. As actually gonna pick up a kill onto Lucky actually. Finds a saw, but will end up going down. Ended up being a bait. Let's here pick up that kill, and I mean, things look pretty good. First and second for McKin in that first half, but really not having too much luck here in the second. First, difficult to break.
Yeah, there's a feeling, and I don't know if it's just because I've been hurt before, but wait a second, RGB&R getting very hurt as well. Okay, they're pushing their way over this hill, but there's this feeling on upward first where it's like, you fail your first Uber, no big deal. You fail your second one, uh-oh, we're going to be here for a while. And yeah, we can even see here Echo having to back up. Half their team is down. The defense is now charging back forward again. Lucky saying, hey, they're all hiding in spawn. You're free to peek.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just, you know, Mountain hasn't died. You get the gun. They find a kill into Kira. But as you said, yeah, you're like, oh, we're supposed to be getting this. This shouldn't be that hard. And then, you know, as you fail that, this gets worse and worse. Hearing headshots rattled off by Mountain up on Playground. Spade's going to be the first casualty this time around. Brian finally finding one onto Mount, but the Uber's popped out. Is coming across, but Eku has in time. Going to use back in, but really not too many kills right now. The gun's still alive. Uber fading, and a scout's not the one you want in front of that gun. Maxi and Argentina are both going to go down. Tiger finds a kill onto Dotwet in the back line. Lots of kills on both sides. Numbers right now, though, and presence favors LIS. See if this faster spawns may end up changing that, though. But the telly is up. Push it dead again. No one on objective, and they might just be buying themselves enough time to keep this first hold going.
I even got excited, like, how many people had to collapse onto Eku, so it's like, oh, we're going to spawn so much faster than them, but, you know, the amount of distance you have to cover even as offense just to walk up to the car here makes it so tough. But wait a second, Kira now, like, point blank with Taiga goes down. There is now a massive ad for Ray, but, yeah, they don't need to do much with it right now because they have system numbers ad.
Oh, Uber's going to be popped up from the defense here just to get aggressive. They're going to find the kill onto Lunar, but Mountain getting counter-sniped on the backside means that this first hold may finally break. Yep, not feeling comfortable right now as LIS on that defense. Bit of a slower back out than you might expect, but Brian's dead, so no need to be too hasty in the retreat. Gonna see RJPNR trying to go for the jump, but they know it's coming. He gets shot out of the air. Spade stabbed on cart as that telly still alive. Mountain going for the god shot off the telly, not going to find it. He knows that this match is probably already over with only 2 minutes here. Maybe theoretically possible, but I think if Ray gets one Uber and just, you know, blocks the card for 8 seconds themselves, it's probably down. So feels bad to call things garbage time when there's still, you know, 1.5 minutes left on the clock, but it's probably where we are.
Uber does come through. Dotwet hiding still in the tunnel, not found yet. Found by Spades, who dies for it. And now Quick versus Dotwet. Dotwet wins. He goes for the taunt. Yeah, 1:20 left with your whole team wiping. That is not enough time to capture back. Now they're getting a little greedy here on Hill. You got to play for the stats. Belief saying, "Hey, look at me go! Yeah, putting up all this damage here on Pyro." We might see one more Uber here, but yeah, it's a couple with a first hold.
Yeah, I mean, 1 minute left. You know, if they can get second here, that's the victory. So Mountain's climbing up onto the wall spot, trying to get that angle into first. They're not going to find it. RGBNR pop up. Going to try to find any sort of damage. Swift walking up. Going to find the kill onto Mountain. Swift just tried to meet the heavy moment right there. A little bit too much damage coming back, but kills now going over in favor of M&K. This may be their second push as Ray has gone down with 30 seconds left. Nick, yeah, just hitting that at WM1 cannot be defeated at any level of play. But look at Totwood and Birdo still in the tunnel. They're in there like a bad fungus.
Oh yeah, I'm so like attuned to like the medic screaming dying to a headshot, but in this case I can try and relax.
You're like, wait, that was Eku running at the enemy spawn when Uber saw out. Okay.
Yeah.
Not that big of a play as it turns out, as it will end up being a 2-0 for LIS.
Yeah, very well played. They yeah, they're very much the stronger team here. I mean, like we discussed, there were a couple individuals that like played somewhat better. I mean, you mentioned, yeah, like if you have enough players that are kind of 30% over their opponents, that adds up quick. But yeah, I love the structure of these pushes out of yeah, like especially out of Kira. I think orchestrating these pushes, you can tell how much Kira like is yeah, number one, keeping the foot on the gas in terms of always pushing forward. And, you know, the rest of the team, again, to always be in position, like, before Kira even says what to do next, the rest of the team is already, like, about to hold WM1 as well, everyone in the right position. So, really well played out of Locked-In Syndrome, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, they do a good job. I mean, Brian's always a player that's, you know, gonna have a target on his back, and Mountain did a great job of, you know, gonna say, haven't seen the second half logs, but outfragged him in the first half to imagine she outfragged him in the second, and again, really well played overall. Entire team got in on things.
Yeah, I guess before, yeah, I'll shout out one more time our RGL merch. If you do exclamation merch or just merch.rgl.gg, you'll see our esteemed fall collection here. A lot of very cute frogs, a ton of merch that supports different teams, supports the league. Even some of these are pretty fun, like even the like Macchiatos and KovaaK's sticker is pretty cute here. So yeah, whatever you find, there's a I love these like team strats journals. Yeah, there's so much fun stuff here on the RGL website for fall. And if you look at that homepage basically of the merch.rgl.gg site, you'll see that there are now memberships for RGL. Basically, you can subscribe to the league, sort of like Patreon, basically, and you get different types of rewards. Where number one, you're like supporting the league and helping us keep doing what we're doing. You know, it's a kind of by the players for the players type league in the first place, so we couldn't do it without you. But also, there's a lot of ways that like different ones contribute to the like the prize pool, or contribute to like you get discounts on merch or something like that. Different access to different types of fun stuff basically around the RGL world. So yeah, please give that a look if it interests you at all. We appreciate all your support.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And taking a look, we will have Asheville up next week. Looks like probably going to be a locked-in Syndrome versus Agar Grove coming up here. Going to say that, with only 5 teams in invite this season, the hierarchy kind of starting to filter in early on. Looks like Team Fun going to be that number 1 seed. LIS versus Agar Grove next week, probably going to be your 2 versus 3. Would imagine MNK 4 and Imposters 5. So, I think next week going to be a good look as to who might end up being that 2nd seed coming in. Gonna have to see how the playoff format gets affected with the death of Daniel team, but should be a really good one next week on Asheville. So always a banger there. Any last words, Rogue? Last words. What am I? Final remarks, maybe. Closing remarks. There we go.
No, thanks. Yeah, like what I saw out of Locked In Syndrome. Yeah, for Macchiatos and KovaaK's, it's like, yeah, I think it's kind of a tough one where it felt like you were doing a lot of the right things, but it wasn't really working out. And I bet if you look over this demo, you'll see like some little things here and there of like, oh, if this pick didn't happen, or if only we got this last little bit. I think it's tough to watch a demo like back like this, and just because I think your opponents played so strong and so fast. So I would say like try and like not beat yourselves up too much over it, but there's still a lot to get out of this demo. Point is, I really like how both teams played, and yeah, I had a lot of fun watching this match.
Yep, I think we'll wrap it up there then. I know you've said you're pretty tired, so I'm not going to drag it on too much longer. Thank you for watching, and tune back in, a week minus an hour, and we'll have some more Highlander for you next week. So thank you for watching. Have a good night.